Should you work on your own Tesla? Should you repair your own Tesla or whatever electric car you have? A lot of people are a little scared of it. I mean, it is a new technology, electric cars. Also, in case of Tesla, the parts are not always available, though they're getting much better at it. Well, I'm the wrong person to ask, but I know someone who is probably the best person to ask, and that's Rich Rebuilds. As you know, he is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, gurus of DIY for Tesla aftermarket repairs and aftermarket modifications. And on top of that, he is also now a regular monthly contributor to this channel. He's going to be here in just 1 second. And by the way, he's one of the few others that have joined my channel on a regular basis, including the CEO of Faraday Future, Karsten Breitfeld, and the manufacturing guru Sandy Munro. So definitely, if you haven't subscribed to this channel by now, this is probably a good time. All you have to do is click on that subscribe button, and if you already have, then the bell notification icon, so you don't miss anything moving forward. Rich is going to answer a few questions that I have for him in terms of, like, if you're a beginner, you just want to start out, what is the best way to do that? What are the challenges? What are the advantages? I mean, all of these questions I see people have been asking in the comment section of this channel in my Facebook group. So I figured we'll just at least give everybody a good answer for somebody who really knows. And by the way, he also now owns his own independent Tesla shop, so we'll talk about that as well. Before that, a quick reminder that this video and this channel is sponsored by Byte, and check out their all-electric SUV called M-Byte, coming to the United States and Europe next year. Join myself and tens of thousands of other people who reserved this car and waiting patiently to get it. I am really excited. It's absolutely free to make your reservation. It takes about a minute of your time. So go to the description of this video to reserve your Byton today. All right, without further ado, let me bring in Rich. Rich, welcome back to your own segment. The first one was quite a success, as I knew it would. So I'm glad to have you back and talk about something different this time around. Last time we talked about Cybertruck, but let's talk about something that people haven't even thought about. But I don't know why, which is, do-it-yourself repairs for Tesla and other electric cars as well, but specifically for Tesla. Most people get to work on their cars, or even like doing, oil changes if it's a regular gas car in their garage. Sometimes for fun, sometimes for, because they don't have as much money to spend. But
right.
Tesla is a whole new, different animal, and you've kind of made a career doing that. So I figured you would be the perfect, person to ask.
No, of course.
How can people do this? And should they?
You know what's funny? I think people should do it. I think if someone owns something, you should have the right to fix it or repair it in any way that you see fit. But the thing is that people are scared of saying, oh, you can't do this yourself. It's a Tesla. It's going to shock you. But remember, that's how I got my start. I first started by literally fixing my car in my basement. So if I could do it in my basement and I have no mechanical or no engineering background whatsoever, then anyone else could do it. If you have half a brain, you could definitely do it yourself. So now the electrified garage that I opened up, we have 2 Tesla certified technicians that work there, and they do most of the work. But the people that come in to actually get work done to their cars, it's primarily the things that go wrong with gas-powered cars. Because if you really think about it, the only difference between a Tesla and a gas-powered car are the methods that it uses to propel the car forward, right? So, for an ICE car, it would be the internal combustion engine, obviously. And for the Tesla Model S or X or Y, it would be, the motor and the battery pack. Now, over the past, 100 years, we've effectively kind of, I would say, perfected the internal combustion engine. So a lot of the cars that go in for service, repair, and maintenance, they aren't really going for specific engine-related issues. Those are relatively uncommon. It's everything around that'll start going wrong, which is the same thing with the Teslas. So, for example, you have suspension issues, you have brakes, you still have a cooling system in the Tesla Model S, you have radiators, you have coolant, and there's a lot of things that go wrong outside of that. You have electrical gremlins that you might have, and again, on an ICE car, you might have a headlight that burned out, or you might have a wiring harness that gets fried for who knows what reason. But very similar things. They're both computer powered. It's just that on one thing, there's a gas engine and there's an electric motor in the other thing. You would think that the internal combustion engine vehicles would go wrong and fail a lot more than Teslas do. And in a lot of cases, it's kind of 50-50 because in an internal combustion engine, you have thousands of moving parts. Teslas, you don't have as many, but a lot of the things that plague Teslas are more so related to the kind of quality issues. You might have door gaps, panels. You might have, buttons falling off, or just, random wind buffeting noise. And in some rare cases, you might have motor issues as well. You might have drive unit issues where bearings might be failing inside of them. You might just have complete system failures. But remember, they are computers on wheels. So things do go wrong. But those are the things you likely probably shouldn't touch yourself in your own garage or basement. But everything surrounding those things you can. Like you can fix a leaking panel. You could fix a suspension issue. You could clean and service your brakes. You could do a lot of the things yourself. A lot of the nitty gritty stuff, once you really get into the internals of it, you probably shouldn't do. But I mean, there's a big community out there, grassroots community, that kind of doing their own thing, ground up. They have their own subsections of forums saying DIY Tesla hacking jobs, and they get into the computer systems and they rewrite code, and it's mostly for out of warranty vehicles. But it's definitely a big thing, because a lot of people spend a lot of money on these vehicles and they want to keep running forever. But at the same time, they may not be in a location where they could just drive to a Tesla service center. In a lot of cases, there might only be one Tesla service center in the person's state, and it might be 3 or 4 hours away. And then what do? If you have a problem with your Model 3 or Model S and it doesn't run, and you're out of warranty, you can call Tesla, have them flatbed it, 5.5 hours, or you could figure out what to do on your own. So long story short, and I'm kind of rambling, do I encourage it? Absolutely. There's a lot of things you can do to maintain your own vehicle. And I think I have a couple of those videos on my channel as well. You can check them out.
At least a couple. But
Yeah, right.
but I've also heard that people kind of afraid to do this because unlike other manufacturers, Tesla is not really kind of helping, right? I know very recently they put out kind of manuals and charts and so forth.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Yeah, those were very basic kind of. I think they were just kind of doing it to appease people. It's funny because whenever Tesla does something, they kind of phrase it as, "Oh, Tesla released their own manuals, their own service manuals," and people will just read the headline and say, "Oh, okay, well, I guess Rich can shut up now because they released their own manuals, so we're all set." But they didn't really dig into it much further than that. Once you actually dig into it further, you'll realize that that's not really the case. They'll release stuff like, "Hey, how do you make a new key fob on a Model 3? Well, go into this menu, select new key fob, and poof, you have a new key fob." Or basic things like, "Oh, how do you change a tire? How do you do this?" Not really getting into the nitty gritty of, how do I resolve this service light, on my Tesla? How do I get from neutral to drive if I have a complete system failure and everything's powering off and all the lights are flashing? So they don't really tell you too much about that. But in terms of what people are scared of, a lot of them are scared to service their own vehicles because they think that when they reach out to the manufacturer, that they're not going to get a response back. And Tesla's been slowly changing their stance on that. They, in a lot of cases, they've actually been willing to help people that do have salvage vehicles in a lot of rare cases, but they're definitely starting to come around. I think they're even realizing that, hey, we can't really sustain this kind of thing forever, where we just kind of stonewall the people that love these cars. Because Tesla owners there's a 50-50 shot if someone owns a Tesla, they're likely a fanatic about it.
True, true. So let me ask you this. Let's say I own a Tesla and one of my door handles on my Model S has not come out, which almost never happens. But let's say in a very rare occasion when it happens, and you've done a video about, how many generation of that thing they have, which only tells me how horrible they've designed it and originally. But can I go and order the part like I would, with any other car, get it from Tesla or maybe a distributor and then put it in myself? And if not, why not?
Well, you can for some of the generation door handles, yes. So there's certain versions. I think it's V1, maybe up to V3, that you can actually change your own handles and it wouldn't have any error codes or anything like that. But I think in the newest generation handles, you won't be able to do that. It's going to throw errors and say, hey, listen, I don't recognize this part. And in a lot of cases, it'll just kind of throw a light in the dash or just not present the handle at all. So I think that a lot of the older generation cars you can do that for. Why Tesla made that change to the generation so that they don't want you to do it, I'm not really sure why that happened. But I think that you might be better off ordering the kit from an online retailer if you're having that issue, provided you're past your warranty point. Because when Tesla comes and says, "Hey, look, oh, your door handle, okay, great," it'll be $600 in some cases. You're better off just kind of doing it on your own, saving $400 and just calling it a day if you're mechanically inclined enough.
All right, well that's I didn't even know you could answer you could order any part from Tesla, but I guess things are changing. And I remember we are talking at SEMA. You said things are actually changing, and they're
Yeah.
you know now as far as servicing your Tesla, let's say it is out of warranty.
Mhm.
Are there? Well, I guess in both cases, warranty or no warranty, are the Tesla service centers the only places where you can go to service your Tesla, or are there third parties now that are just certified, like the body shops maybe? And is that grown at the recently, good, decent pace?
So I don't think that's growing at the pace that it should. I think it's hard for them to keep up with the demand they have currently. There are a handful of third party places that are familiar with EVs that you can take your Tesla to. Obviously the Electrified Garage uh, that I
That's
own.
right. I can't believe it took you so long. I was trying to give you a plug right here.
Yeah, I
You're
know.
one of the owners, just right here.
Yeah, so I don't want to see. That's the thing. I'm not really a brag or like a boast person, but I mean, I don't want to keep pushing it. People get nauseous. But no, let's try Garage. I think we're the first ground up ones for Tesla service. A lot of places, what'll happen is there'll be an existing, automotive place, and they'll say, "Hey, look, we like EVs, so therefore we're going to start working on EVs." We're the first ground up to say, "Hey, listen, our primary mission, core competency, EVs only." And then we focus all of our tools, our equipment, and all of our training around that. And the good thing is we have two former Tesla employees that work for the shop, so they've had their hands on thousands of cars from the two of them, and it makes things a lot easier. So they've seen things a million times more than I've seen them. Like I'm pretty good, I'd like to say, but they're on a level of I've only built three, four, five cars. They've had their hands on thousands over the years.
And how's your relationship with Tesla? And do you have one? I mean, are they supporting you as a third-party shop? And can you do like warranty repairs, or are you completely independent and you just do out of warranty stuff?
So we're completely independent right now, and I'd like to start kind of knocking on their door to say, "Hey, look, what do you guys think about certifying us?" And the problem with certification is Tesla's motto is they want to certify places that are also body shops. So, for example, if your car gets into an accident, you have a front end collision, you bring it to a Tesla certified body shop, and they could do very kind of basic and simple repairs in terms of the computer programming. So, what they could do is, if the entire front end got ripped off, they could replace the front end, and they could do a few things here and there where they almost like reflash the modules back onto the car. They have very basic and limited access to that. But what the structure that I'm going for is I'd like to be a full service center in the fact that you could come to us for the same thing you go to Jiffy Lube for. Jiffy Lube, and there'll be the kind of the drive-by oil change places.
Yeah.
You're kind of in and you're out. You don't have your car for multiple days at a time, and it's a lot quicker. It's more effective, and it's just a better overall experience. In a lot of cases, you don't really want to call to Tesla and have them tell you, "Hey, it's going to take 3 or 4 weeks to get your car service." You want to just call, a place like us, Electrified Garage, and say, "Hey, look, I'm having this weird problem. Can you get me in?" And we'll say, "Hey, yeah, we'll get you in on Wednesday. Why don't you stop by and we'll get you in and out the same day."
Have
So that's
you?
kind of I'm going for.
So have you had issues ordering and waiting, getting parts from Tesla? And I know everybody has really, but has it improved lately? Because that was really and still is one of the biggest complaints about their customer service.
So they are improving. Their wait times have gone down to get parts, and their prices have actually gone down as well. And I think one of the videos I'm going to be coming out with soon is buying parts on eBay versus Tesla themselves. Because way back when, your only choice was to go on eBay or different Facebook groups to kind of buy and sell Tesla parts. But now that Tesla is ramping up production of their parts, and now they kind of have the Model S the Model S parts pretty solid, it definitely makes things a lot easier to do that. So you're going to start to see a shift where the parts on eBay prices are actually higher in a lot of cases than the prices that are looking for. So that's another interesting look out for too.
All right, and in one of our future segments, we're probably going to talk about 3D printed parts and so forth. But all right, so let's say a Tesla owner or an electric car owner has never done any repairs. What would you recommend to if you just want to dive in without like blowing up your car and voiding of warranty? What kind of repair someone like me who knows nothing about this could make? Still be able to figure it out, but not again burn down the house at the same time.
Anything that's not related to high voltage, you should be fine to say that.
Okay.
I mean, in terms of the basic and simple maintenance that you do to your standard ICE vehicle, brakes, wheels, tires, suspension, making sure your alignment's in check to make sure you have the most range possible and your vehicle's operating as efficiently as possible. I would start with those for sure. And then you can move on to things like, your seats modules, power trunk actuators. You can install like cool mods like that. Because a lot of people they have Model 3s. They're starting to install the trunk actuator kits where you push a button, and the trunk opens and closes automatically. Same with the frunk. So installing stuff like that, getting to know your vehicle's wiring, how to tap into fuses, would be a good second step.
That's a couples counselor recommended to me and my ex-girlfriends. Getting to know your each other's wiring. So that's always a good car repair and relationship advice.
Right. Yep.
All right. Well, listen, I'm looking forward to getting some feedback from people who are going to start doing this, and obviously they better keep their eye on your channel as well, which is in the description of this video every time. Thanks for hanging out with me again, and I will see you next month.
Hey, adios, man. Thanks, buddy.
All right, so there you have it. If you have something broken in your Tesla, or will in the next few months, or maybe hopefully years, or whatever electric car you have, and if you're ready to kind of dive in there, it's a pretty good advice. Start from something small, something that won't kill you, and then as you gain confidence and experience, you can move on to bigger things. Of course, get advice. Watch Rich's videos. Yeah, I put the link in the description of this video to his channel. You should definitely subscribe. I also put a link to his independent Tesla shop. If you're in the area, definitely stop by, especially if you need repairs. He kind of made sense when he said, no, they didn't expect him to do so, but it makes sense that a lot of things that electric cars are made out of are the same things that gas cars are made out of. So when they break, it's no different. So if you already worked on your regular gas car, I think you should be able to make the same repairs in many cases on your electric car, including Tesla. So all right, don't forget to subscribe to Rich's channel, but also don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Click that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you don't miss anything moving forward. And by the way, if you're interested in some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, especially when I travel, follow me on Instagram under E4Electric. As a matter of fact, you can follow me on any social media under that username. All right, let me know in the comment section if you've worked on your Tesla or will work on your Tesla electric car sometime this year. I'm looking forward to that. Other than that, see you next time, and remember to stay charged.